Good morning, everybody. Russell Wright, Network Empire. Matt Cruz is also with us from South Africa. I am in Phoenix, Arizona. This is week 5, I believe, isn't it? Week 5, Matt?
Yes.
Okay.
It's week 5, yeah.
A lot has been going on, and it is post-Thanksgiving. And I'm going to go ahead and open up, make sure that I can see that all of you are here. My left monitor, I have all the questions. Can I get a 1 from anybody who can hear me so that I just know that you are here? Hello, Belton. Looks like Joshua's here. Christopher. Okay, people are starting to enter in here. That's great. I figured everybody would be sleeping in or unable to get up or else sick from eating too much, because that's the American way. Looks like we have Fogado also. Hope I can pronounce your name correctly. Hello, Joshua. Today we have, Matt and I were just speaking before we turned on the call, and today we are going to be covering one of the subtlest and most profound aspects of website silo architecture and persuasion architecture. The challenge is always blending the two. And I think that a lot of the time people are performing actions on building a website and they're not realizing how they're stacked, that there are behaviors and desired results that when you understand that you have double touches and sometimes triple touches when you're doing or performing specific actions, you save a lot of time and you actually have a lot more momentum because you know you're doing the right thing. And we're going to get into that a little bit. Christopher is saying we need to learn how to make money so we can eat later. Okay. I would agree that you should also be able to eat now. Okay, let's just take a look at where I want to go with this today. There's a couple of graphics I'm preparing for you on the other screen that I would really like to get into today. And part of it is I want all of you guys to be aware that we do have a wiki. And the wiki is not just designed to daze and confuse. It's designed to make sure that you can define your terms. And if you have any questions about the terms of the language that Matt or I have used, or Sue or anyone else, generally speaking, there should be an entry in there. And if there's not, then there needs to be added, because everything that we do in Network Empire has a definition. The terms have been defined, and we understand how they connect to the large picture, moving all the way out to your network, regardless of the size of the network. Hopefully you know that, you've probably seen this 1,000 times. This is the kind of a superficial or simplified version of what you're trying to accomplish. Of course, there's different versions of this, and this is important to remember where you are. Like when you get up in the morning, remember what it is that you're doing. And of course, there's a lot of microprocesses in there, isn't there? There's a lot of different things going on besides just looking at a nice picture. Although when the picture takes a whole long time to create, this took me over 4 hours to develop this thing. So if even the representation of what you're doing takes a long time, you know the actual processes, that there's a lot of stuff going on. And that's why you do have to go step by step. And you do have to remember where you are and why we've given you these tools. Okay, so let's go ahead and just let me pull one thing up here. Give me a 1 if you were able to fully complete the process, including your homework and everything that Matt showed you last week while we were at the OMG Live event. Let me know if you've been able to accomplish it. Give me a 2 if you're still catching up. 1 if you're able to accomplish up to speed everything that we've shown you, including the ISDNA and all the way up to the integration process. Okay, there's
the guys should be up to. They should be at the place where they can start setting up the WR1 blog as well on the server.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Let me just go ahead and give me a second here. Give me on a scale of 1 to 10. When it comes to understanding how everything is connected, even though not every diagram is shown on this networked development process. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I totally get it, I could roll out of bed and barely have to even think, and I would have a network up by next month. And I would have my website up in just a few days. Give me a 10 and give me a 1 if you haven't the slightest understanding of what we're doing, and you're still just getting familiar with WordPress and have never even done an install or have only done like 1 or 2 installs. Give me a 1 through a 10. Go ahead and give me a scale here so that I just get a general sense of where everyone's at this point. Okay, so we have the range everywhere from a 2 to a 9. So you can see the challenge of teaching is to make sure that we are at a pace that everybody understands. At the same time, we develop courses that are really, I would say, probably 5 or above, just so you guys know. And so we do enjoy trying to work with people that maybe haven't done anything yet. We just might need to, check in with you fairly regularly to make sure that you're not so confused that none of it makes sense. Now, the good news is that this is a perpetual mastermind formula. That means, and that has never been done as far as I can tell with any of my associates in the web community, everything from people that I've known and loved and hung out with in the past, Frank Kearns, to just everybody, the product launch formula, everything like all of that. Normally you buy these big products and, you either get it or you don't, and then it collects dust on your hard drive, digital dust on your hard drive. So the reason we've done that is because, A, we're software developers and we can leverage that by doing so. The other reason is that we took a survey of all the people through the various courses that Matt and Sue and I have created, and Jimmy, and one of the biggest challenges that people had were not really getting it the first time and just feeling like, okay, the brand or the product's going to change, and then we pitch you something new. It's not that we don't have things to sell you. We do, obviously. But the main thing to understand is that the perpetual mastermind formula is designed to, you can audit this course at any time. And this is also for you, Christopher. I know that you're here to make money, and I want you to be able to do that as quick as you can, but this is a university. This is not a business opportunity. That's the first thing I want to emphasize after some conversations I've had this week. Network Empire is not, never has been, nor will we ever present ourselves as a business opportunity. We have people that are making millions of dollars per month with clients based on our methods, and they've been studying with us for upwards of 5 years. So the first thing, and some of them have been in less than a year and are already making 5 and 6 figures a month. You understand that the variables are you and your knowledge, and that's the main thing that I want you to understand. Now, WR1 Tech Foundation is not designed to do this entire network. It's to prepare you for the possibilities, but what Matt was showing you is the integration of these mechanisms last week. And this course is designed to help you, guide you through the process. This is why Matt does the drilling and we do the research and these types of things. Okay. So I just wanted to cover that you guys, the main point to cover is that you can always come back. If you don't get something this time around, you can come back on the next one. And we have weeks worth of archives that provide different eureka moments and different what I call light bulb moments. I try to extract as many of those light bulb moments as I can. And that's fine. And yeah, Christopher, that's the main thing I want you to know is once a member, always a member. What happens in Fight Club stays in Fight Club. It's all here. And we are here to help, and we're not going anywhere. I think that's very, very different than some of the things, some of the courses and training that you guys might have been in before, because our back-end systems, our purpose is a little bit different, to make sure that you succeed regardless of the amount of time that it takes. Okay, so that's the main thing. So this is the silo architecture, and this course is primarily about silo architecture, obviously. So what we'll do is we're going to jump in. I'm going to show you a couple of things. Okay, not to be overwhelmed by a neural network. That's just a fancy thing that we put on our glossary to generate shock and awe. I don't think anybody even uses this thing on here, so don't worry about that. One of the things I wanted to just go over with you quickly is the difference between, by the way, this is themesinglossary.com. You don't have to use the fancy schmancy, okay, brain damage term up here. You can just use themesinglossary.com, takes it to the same place. I want to talk to you first and foremost about persuasion architecture. Give me a 1 if you feel like you have an understanding about the difference between persuasion architecture and silo architecture. Give me a 1 if you have a generally good idea. It's going to go to the search box. I'm going to pull up one of our graphics. Okay, we call it website persuasion architecture. So we know that we have website silo architecture. Can everybody see this, or should I increase my screen size? There we go. Okay, we know that we have website persuade. We know that we have website silo architecture. I mean, Matt's going to be driving that home. He's going to. I would even go so far as to say that Matt will drag each and every one of you across the finish line. You're going to know what that one's going to be, which is not something we normally do with students. It's just because this method is so important that we are willing to do that. It may not be this round. It may not be this week, but you're going to have a light bulb moment where it goes bang. I've been spending several hours organizing and debugging and enhancing the brand new SEO Silo plugins that were supposed to be released a couple days ago. We're just a couple of days delayed. We've rebuilt them from the ground up. The purpose of this plugins is obviously to help you be able to disregard or not freak out about all the technical stuff like, is this link correct, or do I have to use one piece of duct tape to tape my string to my tin can, and am I still passing link flow, and is there trust flow, and oh my god, I mean, who could ever write persuasion architecture spending all day in the technical perfection? You guys ever have that feeling that you spend so much time in the technical stuff and you have this perfect site up, and then when it's done it's like nobody wants to buy anything from it? Have you guys ever had that? How many of you would say that you're like technicians and you're super hardcore technology oriented versus you're better at copywriting? Give me a 1 if you're technology and SEO and you're good with IT, and a 2 if you're more persuasion, marketing, and the rest. Okay.
A lot changed for me when Russ said to me the one day, Matt, stop overthinking it.
Well, it's true too.
That was the golden moment for me.
Yeah, and it's true. I would also say that the challenge is like we do need to overthink it in the sense that part of the work that you did with DWS and getting everything organized is to make it less difficult for people to create the infrastructure. I would prefer that we don't have to think about the silo structures and everything. However, there will be some things that you will never not be. Here's the bad news. The bad news is that there will be some things which machines will never be able to accomplish, at least not within your business framework right now. I spend a lot of time with artificial intelligence. Spend a lot of time, you can see down here on Mendeley, organizing artificial intelligence and researching it. Mendeley is how I keep all my patents and all these different things. You will see huge amounts of documents and artificial intelligence and other things, right? We're a long way off from that. Here's the good news. There's certain things that machines will never be able to do, and that especially comes to the persuasion architecture realm. Okay? So let me just preface this by, Matt, just for you, if somehow I cut out and I just end up being gone, just know that I'll be back on shortly. I'm having some difficulties here with the internet, and Matt will cover me in case that happens, and I'll probably come back on a different kind of microphone here. But so here it is: website silo architecture with persuasion architecture. Okay, engagement, conversion. Remember how we talked about engagement rank, you guys? Right in here is the best possible SEO ranking with the best possible conversion. I think one of the major things that happens with SEO technologists is they don't draw the click once they get the rank. Give me a 1 if that makes sense to you guys. You have to draw the click once you get the rank. And we're all guilty of doing bad descriptions and bad headlines, okay? So this is the main thing that I want to show you. The problem is that website silo architecture is extremely technical. Because of this, technicians tend to overthink, and that's all on here, what we just discussed. Okay, and here's some important neuromarketing and persuasion principles that I talk about. But here's some of the main things that I really want you guys to be aware of, okay? Make your offers compelling, clear call to action, okay, clear solutions to problems. This is all the stuff that you should really have. In fact, this course, what's amazing about this course is if you truly did the ISDNA pain behind the pain, question behind the question spreadsheet, it's probably not really obvious to you guys that you are more advanced in your preparation for your positioning, for your persuasion architecture than 99% of the person that ever uploaded a website. And it doesn't seem like that because you've been through this drudgery of trying to ask questions and sorting through data, and you're asking because you've never done the process before. Some of you have, but because you've never done the process before, you just don't know how amazingly well or amazingly powerful you sit in terms of persuasion and ability to influence a buyer. And of course, then you have to execute it. All right, make a silo landing page. Okay, we know this. Not a simple keyword stuffed technical fiasco. Make the content on any page within the website, silo architecture, feel like it was written by a human who cares and not a robot or outsourced person hired to write SEO articles. You guys already know that I do all kinds of what used to be called auto-blogging with one caveat. It 100% must have engagement rank, stuff that's so powerful and so engaging that people just play with it or look at it or watch the video or listen to the audio. Or another method that a student showed me the other day was an artificial intelligent robot that's on each post that is highly tempting for people to interact with and have a conversation with just to see if it's stupid or not. That that increases your time on site by minutes, and the overall impact on your site is huge. So nothing that we're showing you here is anything to do with automatic blogging. There's no possible way that Matt or Sue or Jimmy or I could teach you, or Kevin could teach you automatic, semantically organized auto blogging, like on this outer layer on the upcoming and later courses, without feeling certain that you understand everything on the human website, the targeted website. Anytime you do any automated stuff, any shortcuts, your radar should be going off. If you get an email from somebody like Traffic Tsunami or Autoblog this or Autoblog that, it's not that those things are bad. What I want you guys to do is to have a internal sorting mechanism where you have these blinking yellow lights going on in your brain, going, oh, automatic push buttons, push button millions, that kind of thing. It's not that you can't learn a lot of that stuff. All that Matt and I really want you to do is, put that in a folder called Someday Maybe, and I put it in a folder called R&D, right? R&D is very, very important for me. I've got a whole, it doesn't mean that I'm not telling you guys to ignore the stuff out there. Okay, I'm just telling you to put it in general R&D. Does that make sense? You guys give me a 1 if you understand. We just want you to put things in the right layers. What's the problem with a lot of the products and services that you guys get is that they're not telling you how it all goes together, and the opportunity to blow yourself up is really, really bad. Okay, so just create yourself a general R&D folder, all right, and somewhere on your desktop or however you organize it, and that stuff goes there, and just you're 1,000 miles ahead of everyone else because you know where all that kind of stuff could go if it wasn't crap, and most of it is. So I just wanted to throw that in there. So first you have to write for humans and learn the WR1 method. Start from ground zero. Start from the article out, the top-level article. So the idea is that you're going to write one really, really good article, and you're going to be able to turn that into all kinds of different content, the repurposing of content, and it's going to flow downstream. Okay. Develop a solid persona for your website. These are all persuasion. Is there a person? Some of you are keeping things really, really impersonal. I understand that. I do want to let you know that that is old school and quickly becoming ancient school. The conversion is up thousands upon thousands of percentages when you have compelling anything that's engagement rank, which we discussed in previous webinars. You must match the general persona to the website. Okay. And again, we're going to talk all about persuasion, painkiller article keywords. Okay, and ultimately you're looking for your one-line zinger. You should have already come up with your one-line zinger in our previous ISGNA process, or at least a few one-line zingers. Everybody give me a 1 if you remember the ISGNA, pain behind the pain, question behind the question processes we went through 3 or 4 weeks ago. Do not underestimate the power of that. You will probably spend a couple of years realizing the full power of what you learned just in that week 2. Okay, this is like over 10 years worth of blood, sweat, and tears that we provided for you guys. I want to let you know how powerful that is. And again, we're just repeating now because we're just going over everything in this persuasion architecture is pretty much being covered in the number 2. Okay. So at that point, we're going to be talking about how to integrate this. That's just a quick overview. All right. So what does that actually look like in terms of theoretical and conceptual? Okay, let me go ahead and lower this. This is going to be in your area right there that we talked about. We call this is the simplest that I could get it. Now keep in mind, I understand that this is an extremely huge oversimplification, but we're very much into stackable architecture. And this should give you a pretty good idea. Also note that the tool that could be used, it's not limited to the tools that I provide you here, is in parentheses in black. Okay, you guys see that? Okay, so let's do a super hardcore oversimplification of what we mean by stacking your persuasion architecture and how the technical components, that is the atoms, the atomic level of your SEO silo architecture, will ultimately be built block by block conceptually into a human-friendly, scary, and or attractive headline, okay, which ultimately becomes intelligence. Keyword research is not really intelligent, you guys. It's not artificially intelligent or otherwise. It's simply trying to find the right blocks that people are going to pick up and tend to type in the search engine and make those blocks available to them. Okay, the blocks don't make anything until you put them into, until you build something out of them. So let's pretend, for instance, that your vertical theme was skin. Okay, you may have found that vertical theme on Kraken, and you may have handed it to Matt, and he would come back with a bunch of things like that, or you may have drilled it into it yourself. And don't get me wrong, skin might be a whole bunch of different other things. But here's the process where Kraken or anything else is not intelligent. Kraken doesn't know what you're selling. It would have no way of knowing if you were selling skin balm or skin repair, or if you were a plastic surgeon selling breast augmentation. It just knows skin is related to a co-occurrence of a variety of different terms, and Kraken will tell you that. That's what's so cool about it. Okay? So when it comes into determining the pain, this is why we had you create your ISDNA spreadsheet, and this is why it's important, because if you've already typed in your pain behind the pain or the question behind the question, skin rash, that already presumes that your product is a skin rash formula, because in that spreadsheet, the ISDNA, as we went through at the end of it, remember how we had you put in that column which product you were targeting, or which multiple products you're targeting? Does everybody remember that? Okay, so the pain keyword you've probably discovered in ISDNA was a skin rash. Now, there probably was a lot of other pains around skin. Keep in mind, if you guys are data mining and you don't have a product and you're trying to determine what to sell, and you're doing that in this course, you're going to have a difficult time. Okay, you're going to have a difficult time. That's not what this course is designed to do. We have had people come through this course and say, I don't know what to sell yet, but I got huge value out of just learning how to properly research something. We've had that happen all the time. We've had people graduate from Tech 1 Foundation and go out there and never pick a terrible product again. I mean, isn't that worth the price of the course right there? I mean, when you really look at it, it's crazy. Okay, so what we're really trying to show you is that, okay, we're biting off a whole lot here. It's a huge, so Christopher, don't feel like, whether you're a 2 or a 10, like we discussed at the beginning, this is the most advanced training in the world. We have had people like Mike Koenig. I've had people that we've talked to think that we're crazy for trying to swallow this whole topic and make it a step-by-step process. But it is possible. And that's what happens when you hang around software designers and engineers all day. So we are definitely doing it. Point here is the pain keyword is skin rash. There's probably many other pain keywords, and you would just have several of these blocks, and they would all be drawn from your ISDNA. And the tool that I use for pain keywords is, I should have put it in here, ISDNA. If you've already got that done, you would have already used TLKT, Kraken, and or Pain Finder for the ISDNA. Okay, those are solutions that we gave you. So you've got skin. There's several things that this is called. This is, different people call this stackable process different things, you guys. I call it shingling. You know how you have a shingle of a house where they overlap, right?
Yeah.
Just trying to give you guys simple ways to describe how things are overlapped. Now, I know it can get more complicated than this, but let's just stick with me for a second. So we already taught you how to use TLKT, Kraken, and Pain Finder to get your pain keywords. Okay, the buyer solution keyword is usually a noun. Not always. It can be a service. It could be skin rash help or something like that. But just know that the buyer solution, the deeper you get into building, the more building blocks you add to create the killer headline, the more clear you have to be on what you're selling or what you're promoting. It's very interesting. They're really the axiom or the core or the organizing principle is a simpler way of saying it. The organizing principle behind everything you do, unless you're Wikipedia who asks for a whole lot of donations, is a thing. It's a product. It would be nice to say that you don't have to have a product and you can do all this stuff. That's what the affiliate marketing community would like you to believe, that you can just, data mine for different affiliate products and promote all day. That's a really hard way to go. I've been in business for over 15 years doing this, and I've done decently well in affiliate marketing. It's a lot harder if you don't know what you're selling, because think about that. The research that you're going through now is really only about how to crush it completely and entirely in any market. And you can still do this for affiliate marketing, but you got to remember, if you're only making 10% on a product, right? If you've followed Matt's instructions and you've done the business decision screen, most of the affiliate systems out there start to look pretty sparse in terms of return on investment, don't they? Okay, this is why you want to build your own products. Now, the exception to that is if you've got this humongous list, which is why in the Warriors Forum and everything else, it's like list this, build your list, build your list, build your list, because that's all you can really do if you're an affiliate. Now, guys, I know several of you on this call are affiliates. I'm not putting that down. I just want it to be on your radar that not only technically in terms of SEO algorithms and punishment from Google, as well as the lousy pay, affiliate marketing, as we knew it in the boom gold rush of the internet, is on its way out. I can't withhold that information from you. I just can't. I'm not saying that there won't be vendors. I'm not saying that Amazon and all these things won't there. I'm not saying that, just saying that both affiliate products and joint ventures and vendors and distributors will have a specific schema markup within the next 2 or 3 years. And you're gonna have to jump through so many hoops. By the time you have to add schema markup and all these other things, your diminishing return, which is already present, will just double, and people will start coming up with their own products or working with systems that provide you far more commissions. This is why I do recommend, if you're going to be a back-end affiliate, if you're going to be a big affiliate and you don't have a huge list, okay, then you really want to do what's called high-ticket items. I just want to throw that in there. In other words, you're not going to want to be an affiliate for skin rash balm, which gets you 14 cents per sale, okay, if you're an affiliate. You want to own the skin rash balm company, and the exception of this is if you own a giant skin rash authority site and you're monetizing it, and let's say you bought that for $10,000 or something, and then you can sell the ads and promotions. But again, you would have bought that or built that. Just know that that's a labor of love, and you've got to come up with a business model, and you should talk to myself or Matt or anybody else on our team to make sure that your business model isn't screwed. I don't know how else to put it other than that, but I'm just trying to help you guys out. Okay? So the buyer solution keyword is going to be skin rash balm, and we already showed you how to make that. At that point, once you have the thing or the object, one of the ways you can know that this is a thing or an object is like literally this is a key, this is an object. You could actually put a semantic web marker on it. It actually has a definition. At that point, you're ready to start creating headlines. Once you have the skin rash balm, then you're really ready to work with what we call the painkiller article method. Is anybody familiar with the painkiller article method that we discuss at Network Empire? Give me a 1 if you've already been introduced to it, and a 2 if you have not. Okay, so in your members area on week 4, we have this great section here called Painkiller Content Creation. And the reason that's important is the painkiller article method is one of the only article methods that I've found that handles everything distributed out through your network. In other words, you create one really killer article, and you can remix it, you can break it down, you can take snippets. Social Explosion, we designed Social Explosion as well, which is more of the automated backlinking kind of thing, social backlinking, so that it would actually come back to specific articles and take a snippet here and a snippet there and give you a link based on that. That's the whole purpose, is because when you write things in a painkiller article method, a majority of the content has 140 characters that are at least compelling. And I don't know why that's the case, it just is. That's what makes the method so cool. Okay, it's the only method that I found that I would actually ever want to chop up into a bunch of tiny pieces and distribute them around your network. And I'd say that 60% of those would be clickable or click magnets. Does that make sense? It works that way because the way that the article is constructed has a whole lot of interesting but incomplete sentences, right? Or kind of compelling You know, 4 things never to do when dating a woman the first time, right? That's, for somebody in that niche who's like about to go out on a date, that's going to get clicked. And the way that the article templates, we've given you these article templates. And these are the PDF versions of them. John Ledger's software, there was talk of us rewriting functionalities, part of it, actually enhancing it. But for now, it really is just a fantastic layout. I mean, he's got a lot of his writing skills from somebody that I know out there, the way that he set these templates. We can talk about that another time. But 3 things to avoid, 5 reasons you should, 7 reasons you should. Now we're getting into copywriting. And the reason I choose this method for you guys is that if copywriting could be automated with neuromarketing, click magnets, and things that create interesting but incomplete slippery slopes for the brain, or the question mark is the open loop, right? Hopefully you guys have seen some of our material on that. People are inclined to close these loops. There's a couple of things that are happening with sentences like this. 7 reasons you should, how to, and 5 easy steps. This will always get, fear always gets more clicks than benefits. Okay, we've talked about this on Tech Foundation 2. Tech Foundation 2, Week 2. I get into the most advanced neuromarketing training that I currently have available in this organization, in Network Empire. And we actually talk about the root dopamine hacks. And we also talk about that just because you get more clicks on things to avoid and horrible, you know, you guys have all been in, you've all got Facebook crazy conspiracy things and clicked on them, right? I mean, I seriously doubt that anybody in this room has never clicked on a scary political or conspiracy or fearful or headline, right? And statistics show that people click on them more. Just one quick side is that just because you get more clicks on scary stuff doesn't mean you should only use them, because there's also something in neuromarketing called killing the messenger. If a website is always the bearer of bad news and only the bearer of bad news, then pretty soon they become hated just as much as the message. So just be careful to not what's called fear monger, okay? Definitely use these, but make sure that the content, which we'll get into here shortly, provides really useful and interesting solutions. And don't make it so heavy that people feel like the end is near or something like that, okay? You got to really provide a solution if you're going to use any negativity. Okay, so how to use that. These are the templates that you can go to. You can see that I give you a pretty good overview. The Instant Article Factory actually is John Ledger's software. It's one of those things, it's one of those gems out there that when combined with higher knowledge, like for example the higher knowledge that you guys are learning in this course, turns it into something that's about 1,000 times worth its value. But because it's not connected intrinsically to our system, it's just a third-party app, it has the value that they give it. But we're actually showing you how to leverage it in unfair ways. And really, you can see that I've given you the templates. Templates are very easy. These are actually inside the software. It looks like this, okay? 3 things to avoid. There's variables or places where you could actually put anything you wanted to related to your product. I don't need to send these docs, Joshua. They're inside your members area. They're all in the area. Okay. Here, actually, I will send them to you. But I just want to let you guys know that you have access to all this, right? I'm literally going over what's inside your training. Let me just go ahead and let me just give that to you. Hang on. I will send those to you, Josh. Just want to make sure that you knew that it was there. I'm going to send that to the entire audience. And let me make sure that I give you this area as well. No problem, Joshua. I'm here to torture you. Okay. Not really. I'm not really here to torture you. All entire audience is serious. Okay, there's another one. Okay. Good. So when you really look at these and spend time, things that I want you to be thinking about when you write these is like, oh, when I run these through Social Explosion later on throughout the empire, they're going to be hacked into little pieces, which are still interesting, more interesting than most tweets that are out there. I mean, think about that. Let's just take a random sentence and see if it's tweetable. Positive reasons are pleasure-seeking reasons, ... bit.ly. Okay, that's going to get clicked. There's just a lot of juicy content, right? There's stuff like that. Okay. More specifically, you must know blah blah blah, depending upon the characters, and sometimes it'll put out stuff that's not there. But the point is that because the whole article is based around creating rich content, and it's full of more one-line zingers than most other kinds of articles. Like if you go to an SEO article writing person, they're going to just like write this factual article, and there's probably quite a few one-line zingers in there, depending upon the quality of the writer, but it's not like 80% one-line zingers. For example, if you have 15 things to avoid as the article, there's going to be at least 15 sentences that are intriguing to your target market if you've done things right. So when that distributes out to your network, you're going to draw a lot more clicks through your automated social campaign. Does that make sense? The stuff is really thought really very well through, you guys. We're connecting all of the dots. It's kind of funny, and we haven't even really fully launched Network Empire. We're still kind of in our prototype phases. You guys are like totally early adopters. Okay, so you can kind of see where we're going, and we already have that. Social Explosion was designed to take that stuff into account. So if I were to write an article, I might write an article, 14 things to avoid when using skin balms, or 3 skin balms to avoid. You can do, like, there's so many different articles that you've done. Yeah. Welton's saying he's never done this he's done this on his own, but never in a complete system. Yeah, these articles are really, they've been out there for some time. And the difference is I've had the opportunity to test a variety of different kinds of articles like this. And these are the best performing. The cool thing is that if you use something like Article Factory or the rest, if you do it correct, even if you, God forbid, do the spinning function in there, the quality of the articles that you get back with a little bit of editing is by far the most compelling. It doesn't lose its compellingness. It doesn't generate gibberish. Now, I'm not saying that the content spinner in Article Factory is something that you want to use. I'm saying that because of the way it's done, the articles are still spectacularly good compared to spinners out there. Okay, so really, you just need to keep that in mind, and I would not use them on your WR1s, but they could definitely be used elsewhere. Okay. They're not, I wouldn't even call it really spinning. They're just, he gives you several variations of the article that just turns around some of the ideas. It's not spinning, it's not generating gibberish. It doesn't do that. Okay. All right, cool. So those are your painkiller article templates. Here's a little link to the Instant Article Factory. It is not an affiliate link. I have no need to give you an affiliate link. Just not that it matters. I'm not apologizing for that. I just want you guys to know that this is we don't recommend third-party tools very easily. As long as this is around until we have our rewrite, we're not, we're going to recommend what actually works. And of course, then Social Explosion itself is designed to, take snippets of highly compelling one-line zingers that are more likely to be in a painkiller article method. Okay, you can download all this here. Okay, I do have a video here where I go over stackable persuasion keyword system that we're talking about right here. Okay, and then I introduce you to Social Explosion as well, including the help file. Let's go back to this. This is key. All right, how to choose balms for skin rashes. Are they safe? Do you see how that is interesting but incomplete? This is a resequence of the painkiller article. See how that creates an interesting but incomplete fear? And again, this should be drawn from your ISDNA, your question behind the question, the pain behind the pain. Okay, you understand why people would be getting a skin balm? You see what I mean? So that's all going to be dependent upon what you're selling and how you've positioned your skin balm. Okay, you might be doing lip balm, for instance, and then your whole stackable thing would be skewed to dealing with chapped lips. Does that make sense, you guys? I saw an article out there for real that was, does chapstick make your lips worse over time? That was an actual article I saw, and I clicked on it. See what I mean? And that was an excellent painkiller article method. Not only did it cast doubt on my use of chapstick, but it made me click on the link and read the article, and they recommended that the reader stop using traditional chapstick, and then they sold them like bee balm or something like that. See what I mean? This stuff works, you guys. Like It is the deceptively most powerful persuasion method in the world, and the fact that you can stack it now, not only into automation, but onto your silo structure, should be pretty killer for you guys. Okay, here's another resequence of the same headline, but with the authority distinction. If you've got a brand that is, maybe you have an authority, because I'm dealing with businesses of different size here in this group. Some of you are affiliates, some of you are just launching a startup with a new product. Some of you are, there's another person here who's got a really big company and has millions of dollars a year, and they have a spokesperson, right? So you know who you are. You can actually use the doctor. Your doctor recommends ointment for skin rashes. That's more of when you have an authority, you can use them as a direct statement. And that would be actually an editorial. It would be different than the painkiller article method. I would do an interview. I call that Ozification, Dr. Ozification. That always works. It's kind of an unfair advantage, but you can continue to do that. Just don't make any claims, you guys, that you can't back up with your claims. All right? So give me a 1 if you feel like you have a general understanding of this overview. Okay. Okay, good. Who would like to volunteer to walk the stair step, meaning walk the shingle, starting from your theme to your pain. We'll do it one at a time, and I will actually help you. Give me a 1 if you're going to volunteer for me. Is that Vigara? Did you volunteer? Okay. So type in your first keyword. Type in your theme. Just can only be 1 or 2 words. Real estate. Okay. Well, how general is that? How general and competitive is that? Okay, so is it local or is it general? Because you could actually do local as well with this type of stack, by the way. Oh, it's local. Okay, then what you're going to want to do is, interestingly enough, you're going to want to, your vertical is actually going to have a sub-niche, so it's going to be whatever location it is. So if it's San Francisco real estate, you're going to want to put that in there. Okay, and of course, if you're building a giant directory, you're actually doing a different topic than we cover in the silo course. Directories are a whole other ball of wax, and that Matt can give you a lot of help. But I mean, actually, Matt's got a local site as well. But just if you're doing a directory, we're not teaching directories in this course. The reason I bring it up, I don't know what's going on, but over the last 2 weeks, I've had like 4 people approach me with giant local directories. Part of it's just part of the course. As local becomes dominant, people will want to build really large sites. And by the way, we have really interesting stuff with directory software specs that we're working on. Okay, so if you do that, you go, for instance, San Francisco real estate, and then you have to know what you're selling, right? So are you selling listings? Like, what are you selling? Are you selling houses? Are you selling brokerages? Like, what are you selling? Leads. You should be over in the local leads empire course. What are you doing here? I'm just kidding. Matt, he's in the wrong course. No, he's in the right course.
No, we had some good chats in the consultations
yeah.
about what he's doing.
Yeah, because Matt will be a good person for you on that one. If you're selling leads, your headlines can be whatever you want, essentially. As long as in the local area, you would have to go ahead and look at your ISDNA and go over to your spreadsheet, and I'm sure you probably came up with some interesting fears, pains behind the pains, questions, and doubts. So you're going to take those questions. Do you have any of those off the top of your head? Like, what are people afraid of in Waterloo? Yeah, exactly. Okay. So one of the big questions is downturn. So the fear word there is downturn. And so those headlines become obvious. I'm just going to read what Vigato said. Staying ahead of a possible downturn of water real estate. Okay. Staying ahead of a possible downturn. And that's great. You did a great job. And what we would probably do with that headline is I can make it better than that. One thing I would like to point out, if I was to nitpick, I don't know if you guys can when I put this on my screen, can you guys see it? Can you see the questions?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, good. So it's not transparent. Oh, I got to know that for next time. You can see that, Matt, really? Staying ahead of?
No, we can see how to choose a safe skin.
No, but
Are you talking about?
I'm talking about go-to. Do you guys see the go-to question box?
No, we don't see
Okay,
it.
that's transparent.
Yeah, it's
This
invisible.
this is only a nitpick. Okay, this is not. I love your headline. It's great. He said staying ahead of possible downturn on Waterloo real estate. It could be argued only from a copywriting perspective that the downturn is actually the key. So to put that sentence, here's a perfect example of contradictions between SEO and persuasion. Let me go ahead and show you this. This is the sentence that he actually wrote, which is great, by the way. Understand, I'm only nitpicking here. I'm nitpicking only in terms of persuasion. This is the article that the painkiller article headline. Staying ahead of possible. Waterloo real estate is probably his target term. Here's where I want you guys to be a little bit flexible. Okay, from a machine perspective, I can understand why he wants to keep these together, and you still can. But the key word here for humans is downturn. And probably there's 3 or 4 different other words that he came up with in his ISDNA. So it would be great, first of all, it is better to leverage the keyword a little bit towards the head of the sentence. So if you could have downturn or whatever the fear word is towards the first part of the sentence, it's going to be a little bit more compelling. Okay, and it's just a minor nitnoid. For example, staying ahead of the possible downturn of Waterloo real estate. See if you can find ways that still are very compelling and then don't make it seem unnatural to put possible downturn towards the head of your sentence. He tried another one, real estate downturn in Waterloo. Is it coming? That's a great one. So you're a good headline writer. That's great. Okay, that's a really good idea. So let me just go ahead and here's the one that he changed to. He did it faster than me, probably because coffee is still hitting my bloodstream. Okay, real estate downturn in Waterloo. That's good. You've got a real estate downturn as your keyword. That's good. Now the only sacrifice that he made right here is that real estate is separate than Waterloo. And at this point, then you can go into the technical arguments. You'll get hardcore SEOs try to tell you that real estate and Waterloo should be touching. This is called proximity issue. Okay? If you're doing your SEO well and you're siloing properly, in some ways it's actually safer to have a little distance in some of your headlines and this and that. Okay? It depends on where this is and at what level in your hierarchy. All right? The point is that don't just be doing real estate, Waterloo, Waterloo real estate, Waterloo real estate, Waterloo real estate, and then trying to stuff those into headlines. Get jiggy with your headlines, you guys. Don't throw all of your SEO, when you're writing headlines, throw 80% of your SEO knowledge out the window and turn them wherever they need to go to be a better headline, okay? This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the persuasion architecture and the website architecture overlap perfectly. You don't want to throw out, if you can help it, you don't want to throw out Waterloo real estate. You want it in the headline. It would be nice if it could be touching, but don't make it seem unnatural. Real estate downturn in Waterloo. Is it coming? You could do other things. There's so many headlines I could do with this. Give me one if you guys understand the general issue. Well, Welton says, glad that the silo architecture solves the proximity issue. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's 10 or 20 other more perfect sentences you could make to match both. What I don't want you guys to be doing is each headline that you write, you're pacing around your office for 30 minutes every headline. Just keep it generally there. Try to front load things. Try to get the proximity as best you can. And if you're converting and you're doing your backlinking properly, then spend your time doing that kind of stuff. Okay, especially when it comes to backlinking anyways, you don't want to have, it's getting so bad, you guys, you don't want phrase match, like it's the last thing that you want. That's getting 100 times worse over the next year because of Google Skyfall. I mean, you do not want to have, so start getting out of exact match proximity concepts in your mind throughout your website. You'll just get an over-optimization penalty of some kind or another. Okay.
Yeah, keep it natural.
Yeah, keep it natural. And natural will always be, this is the way you naturally write. You still got Waterloo in real estate, and the artificial intelligence, the natural language processing, it's going to know. Remember, this is going to be your H1 header tag, right? Or wherever, or actually, it'll be wherever wherever you're putting your headline itself will be weighted as a headline. Just know that start writing for humans and considering a significant part of the SEO, but don't start acting like a robot. Okay? Bogado is saying, possible subheading in article, current state of Waterloo real estate market. Let's go ahead and see what he's got here. Good. Just as an aside, Bogado, I like anything with the word future in it. The future of Waterloo real estate is a downturn coming. So what you can start doing is anything that's futuring, here's a little secret hack for the human brain that you guys probably already know, but you don't know that you know it. Think of the way that I market Network Empire. You guys, some of you have been watching us for years. Would you say that a significant part of what I do and what I write about is what's coming? How much of my marketing is futuring, you guys? What, 80%, 90%? Yeah, it's at least 80%. 80%. Futuring is the key, you guys. It's a key. You know why it's a key? It's a triple hack. You're positioning yourself and or your website as a pundit and or a futurist and or a voice of reason. Think about evolution, right? We evolved as creatures that have to make choices in every second, okay, every minute. And what is the main thing that you're providing through website? What is the whole internet? What is Google? It's an insurance decision machine. A decision insurance machine, right? You want to try to find out how to avoid pain, damages, and loss, and or how to learn something, okay? So all answers to all questions in a certain sense are painkillers. And once you really start to recognize that, you'll start positioning yourself and your brand as an authority. Even if it's not you personally, you can still get experts. You can still get interviews. People actually ask me all the time what the topics of their conversations should be when they get interviews. And I've told people who got really kind of high-profile people on their podcasts and on their videos for interviews, and they just talk about nonsense. Like there was one person was talking to Bruce Clay or somebody who I considered to be very well. I can't remember who it was. It wasn't Bruce Clay, but this is a person you could ask anything. Or actually, we had David Amerlin, who's a semantic master. He's helped build the semantic web more or less. And the questions that were being asked, there's nothing about what's the future. What do you think is the future of this? What do you think is going to come with? Always ask futuring questions because it'll draw more clicks. Because that's what really people are afraid of, the future. Okay? So give them the voice of reason, become the voice of reason. It's really going to be huge. If you could create an article that was always about the future, if you have anything about futuring, that's part of the reason that the TechCrunch and all those sites are so successful. They're just giving you warning shots about what's coming. Okay, good. So you did a great job. I'm going to move on to the next person. I think Joshua wants to go. And that'll be perfect. Okay? So you did a good job. I really like what you did. You definitely get it. You're not doing anything outside of the. If you had just gone with the original stuff that you provided, you would do great. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and look at Joshua's. We'll do one more before we move on. Let me just see if I can find. Okay, Joshua, what do you got? Give me your keyword sentence. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure because I expect this headset to die at any second. Okay, financial freedom. Okay. What's the pain keyword, Joshua? Debt and poverty. Okay. Okay. What's your buyer keyword? I don't think a financial goal is a buyer keyword. How you can achieve your financial goal is it could be an article headline. Let me just see here. It's okay if you color outside the lines a little bit. It's not perfectly stacking, but we need to think about the relationships between these blocks, these building blocks. Financial freedom, financial independence. Okay, debt and poverty. Okay, that's the pain keyword is debt. So I'm actually dubious as to whether this is your. Yeah, you've done a lot of research on financial freedom, right, and financial independence. You already know that that's your vertical theme for your site. I remember you have the big site on how to get your head on straight about thinking about wealth, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, so in your specific case, the pain doesn't match the vertical theme. That's fine. The buyer keyword is how can I achieve financial. That's really not. That's really more of a. Okay, so your headline probably should combine the two. And since your product is not really, does your product cover anything about how to get out of debt? Or is it only about, not exactly, okay. Let me see your website again. I forget what it is. What's your URL again? Here we go. Pain. Bankruptcy is a pain cure you've got on your main site. Still not clear. Is this a Is this like a magical manifestation kind of technique on using like the 11 chapter 11 or like the it's subliminal. Okay, there you go. Finally, I got a definition of your product. Well, it's more of a tangible. There's nothing wrong with the way you've laid it out. There's a reason that you are not positioning it as that, right? You don't really want people to know it's that up front. Is that correct? I know what you're up to. Let me see here. You might want to consider a checklist of what it's not. That could be really useful. It's a little bit blended. You know what I mean, Joshua? You could actually, it is not this. It is not, I'm actually giving you sales marketing. Generally speaking, when I have a difficult time stacking the layers, technically, it means that the product is not 100% clear to me. It's not that it's not clear to the market, although if it's not clear to me, it probably isn't 100% leveraged as to what you could be from all the different aspects. Is it a series of audio tapes? Is it a mastermind group? Phase 1, okay. Mind reading. Okay, now you're dealing with, this is called neurosymmetry, by the way. All true. It would be interesting to see how much your course actually understands about the neurosymmetry. Okay, oh, it's subliminal videos? Okay, now we're getting, as a buyer, I'm having to ask the creator, like, what is this course actually? And no offense, not Joshua, I'm just really trying to get in. The reason I ask is because there's a huge actual market for subliminal videos. I'm not saying that it would be this or audios. I'm not saying it would be this tape, and I know you don't want to be in the hypnosis market, but I have to look at all the aspects of the tangibles before, so that you don't leave money on the table. You understand what I'm saying? If I don't know, I can't really. I know you're not like another subliminal audio cassette tape out there. I'm not saying that's even bad. I'm just saying, oh, it's a single DVD. That's interesting that, I don't know, I think I would just, you know, it's funny, I wasn't really clear what the actual tangible product was. Even though I saw this, I didn't really know. I just like to be told like what it is. Not that you should do that. Okay, I'm beginning to get an idea. I would have to think about this one. I don't really like the way it's stacking. That's just me. Robert Kiyosaki lives 2 streets over from me. Right here in Scottsdale. Okay, page 4. Okay, subliminal imagery. Yeah, okay. All right, well, I'm going to probably move on a little bit. I actually think that you have some, because you're in an abstract, there's, I don't really want to do this in front of everybody because I think there are some particular issues with the way that it's compelled. Because here's your tangible, all right, you're not positioning it as a tangible. So what you could do, I would start writing more articles. Like I would get into like things that using the actual technology. You could write like how to gain financial freedom and that's so cliche though. How to create financial freedom and remove debt through subliminal, something like that. You might test it on a blog. Another thing you could do is subliminal financial freedom question. Is it possible? Period. You understand what I'm looking at there? Subliminal, then I would probably do different articles. Subliminal debt removal, question mark, or subliminal debt removal, colon, does it work, question mark. Okay, that's okay, Joshua, it's all good. There's so many, you have to realize now that if in the world of internet, in the world of things, you still have a thing. You have a method. You have a proprietary technology in the method. But you also have, like, think about it from the semantic web, okay? Let me show you guys something here. In Joshua's case, it's kind of important. Matt and I go over this during the live event. And yours is a perfect case because it's a little hard, and since we do a whole half a day on it in certification, I just don't want to get into it. You actually need to look at your business model. And it's a good, Joshua. I'm really pleased with the fact that you've created something that's kind of out there, but it's got a pretty good system with that. Here's the main thing I want to look at with you, okay? This is futureproofempire.com. I gave you all this, okay? This will really help you, Joshua. Start with why. Like, what is this really about? Here's the persuasion architecture and let me just zoom out a little bit for you guys. Do not underestimate the power of this document, and please do not by any means give it away. This is something that we talk about during our live event, but we get into it during a whole day workshop. The main thing to look at is your business. This is for you specifically, Joshua, and if anybody else here can get help on this, I want you to look at the semantic web. Looking at the semantic web is helpful, and not because I want you to technically mark everything up. I'm not asking. I'm doing it for this reason, so that you know what's coming. Everything in your business can be marked up. There's you, okay, which is not as significant. It doesn't seem like you're a real spokesperson for that product, really. Like you're not really speaking. I haven't seen you. You're using some spokespersons and the rest. That's fine. So you're using Tony. What's his name? Who's this guy? Here's some great testimonials, by the way. But you've got this guy, and you've got another speaker somewhere down here. Okay. But ultimately, you're the creator of the product, so you're going to have to mark it up. And then there's your business. Okay, you can mark up your business, and that business is going to be whatever you're using to house that product. And then there's your brand and your product. And here's where I'm confused with you. This is the only reason I'm bringing it up, is that you have a brand. Millionairecreator.com is your brand, but your product is a little bit tiny weak on, like it's really great. You're like really almost there. You've got a product, but it's really, you've given me all these features and benefits of what it does, and you're basically essentially creating a religion, which, by the way, is everything that you need to do if you want to create a cult of, like, the law of implication, or you want to create a cult of, you know, The Secret, or in my case, epimemetics. We have our similar thing, how to think about wealth and how to get your head on straight. But what's not really clear is you're being a little bit sheepish about what this is. This is a subliminal program. And when you were, and you can tell it's confusing because I don't know if I'm going to a mastermind group or what this is, and those all may be included. You might back end me those things, and that's what I really want to look at, Joshua. Is you stand to make a whole lot more money if you think a little bit more clearly about that. If you told me, for instance, or you have another website that it just says subliminal blah blah blah, that opens up an entirely other market, and you might need another WR1. Like you might have to go through the process that Matt is showing you again, because it really is a thing. And by the way, we have a certified advisor who's in the hypnosis market. Trust me, there's tons of buyers, like maybe even more than there are in you know, not more, but the same amount. Okay, so just remember that you could flip this page around and it could target a different market. I know that you don't want people to get caught up. There's just something not quite right if it's a hypnosis product. And nowhere on the page can I find that word. Okay, it's a little bit weird. It means that there's something else going on. There's something that you're not wanting them to judge it, or you've had a bad experience by labeling it as that. But you see how that came up? The main thing for you guys listening, that came up when just trying to do a simple stack, and Joshua's page made it difficult for me because I didn't really know the what of it. He was selling me a system, but he didn't really tangibilize that system in a way for me. He did it in the picture, but it's not telling me what it is. And to me, that's kind of like, that's an apologetic position. I'm embarrassed to tell you that this is a subliminal video thing, or you want it to be a surprise, or you want it to be, I don't know. Oh, here it is. Here's a subliminal level. Gains the ability. Yeah. But I like what you're doing here with this, and you can really, I think you should be more clear on what the product is, as if you were marking up the semantic web. If you're afraid of competition or something like that, well, then you need to go ahead and look at the future-proof empire model. We show you exactly how competition is impossible, okay, how to position yourself. But here's what I like about Joshua's position right now, just so you don't think I'm beating you up, Joshua. What I like is that you've got the vision. This is my big problem, okay? A lot of people come in, don't have all that. Not only do you have a vision, but you've got this whole idea about what it is and what it should be and what's possible, okay? You're going to provide that for people. You've got a strategy laid out. I love your thing on your site where you're like, okay, here's the phases, okay? By the way, this is called specsmanship, for those of you who are not familiar with that. He's giving you the whole spec of the process without really getting into the hardcore spec of the program. Okay, but it's the process that he's selling. Okay, the psychology or the position. The product itself is actually a little bit weak. You've made it difficult for me to understand what it is and get clear I'm not even going to repeat that one, Joshua. Uh, it's stop apologizing for the product. If you're going to be in subliminals, be in subliminals. There's plenty of money in there. Stop hiding. If you feel like you're going to turn people off because it's got a bad rap, okay, well then, if you're going to, I can understand if you've tested it and you don't get good response on that, and you do get a good response from the magical approach or the interesting but incomplete, and you want that incomplete to be what the product actually is, that's fine. But you may want to consider building another site that deals directly with what it is, because you're going to open up another, I think the total search market value in hypnosis was something absurd. I drilled into it last month. It's like $1 billion something. So don't be leaving that money on the table. You might be pleasantly surprised by the response if you position yourself in that market correctly. Okay, so that's what we really discovered here, is you can use hypnosis, you can use mind training. There's another one, by the way. You can use positive affirmation. You can, although I know that tends to reduce what it is that you're doing. If you're going to stack that technology, just remember you'll have a good ability to do that, but you got to tangibilize it. Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and just pause here for a second. Give me a 1 if there's anybody, if everybody understood what I was teaching Joshua in terms of positioning. Give me a 1. If you're a little bit unclear about why I went through that whole process, give me a 2. And I also, if we were in a room here at the certification event, I'd say, okay, let's get a round of applause for Joshua. He did a great job putting himself out there. He's getting a lot of exposure for this product on our side. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and just kind of finish what we're doing here. The assignment for you guys this week is to make sure that you have stacked your persuasion architecture with at least 1. And if you're having a hard time doing it, it's probably because the buyer keyword is not 100% clear, or what you're actually selling is not 100% clear. Like, for example, if Joshua was selling a debt consolidation program, that would be really, really clear. Like, it's a program of how-to. It's a how-to program. He's not exactly selling a how-to, but he's also got some stuff in there that's probably how-to. The core of the technology, or one of the aspects of the technology, is a hypnosis thing. And I think counterintuitively, he's going to be surprised at how many really, really lazy people will just want a hypnosis CD, how much money he'll make on it. I didn't want to come out and just say that, Joshua, but that's what I'm really thinking. Okay, and that's true. I know that. I've been in the business, and that's just something that you might want to consider. Now, if it's a system or a program that involves a class or a course, you got to say that it's a class or a course. You got to say what it is that you're selling. That really makes it really easy. It doesn't mean, if you want to just drive traffic to your website, there is a method for not talking about the actual thing that you're selling. We do that all the time. If you have a topic like, let's say, SEO backlinks, like SEO, let's say SEO backlinks was ours. That's the vertical theme. Painkiller keywords. Is automatic SEO backlink building safe? Okay. Well, if I don't have the buyer solution keyword, which is, let's say, social explosion in there, you could, and again, this speaks to Joshua's issue. What you can do is just leave it out, and the whole article can be about that, and then you can put a banner at the bottom, or you can talk about it in the last paragraph. Okay, so you don't have to have the product or the buyer keyword. Another buyer keyword was, in that sense, my whole sentence, which would be, is automatic SEO backlinking safe? ? In that sense, that whole headline is related to social explosion because it is automatic and it is a backlinking thing. Okay, that's not the only thing that it is. It's also social traffic generator. So an article could be, if the pain keyword is lack of social traffic, you could position it like that. So these are the things that you really want to look at, is that you don't have to put the tangible in there. But I happen to know that social traffic or automatic backlinking is a buyer keyword. Okay, that's a solution people are looking for. So you just want to try to be creative with it and stack that. So keep in mind, like, where we've been today. You guys have come a long way through this course. Sadly, I cannot expand this flash animation, but everything we talked about today was stacked on your ISDNA. You know that? Like, when we were talking to Josh, we're thinking about Joshua, think about, what is this person going to actually buy? What does he really want? Okay? And what target is there? And are there more than one person? There's people who want financial freedom, but there's also people who want it in a specific way. There's also people in the hypnosis market who financial freedom might not be the front of their mind, but it's not indirectly related to what's on their mind. So you have to be able to hit all those markets. Okay. Here's a question coming in from Bogato. Should we start making our online stackable titles in DWS from this week, preparation for a website import, or should we import and then go change the titles? Matt, what is your opinion?
You basically change the titles in the blog.
Yeah.
Depends what version they got. Most of you guys got the mini version, so you'll have to change the headlines in the actual site.
Yeah, and that's not a bad way to go if you guys are using mini. It's not really important where you do it. I know if you're making sites that are like hundreds of pages and this and that, I recommend that you write your first one out. Part of your homework assignment is to make sure that you have all of these stacked. Okay, so write your first, and again, this emulates your silo structure as well. And don't over-optimize, you guys. If your vertical keyword theme, you should already have covered your keyword DNA. Like you can use multiple. If, for example, skin rash is your pain keyword, try not to always use the same thing. Okay, for instance, if I had a silo on skin rash, probably skin irritation is going to follow under that same. This is why it's so important to make sure that you recognize what is a silo and what is disparate. Most people get confused around, should I make skin rash or skin irritation separate silos? It's highly unlikely that you would need to do that because they're so closely related. That will depend upon the co-occurrence in Kraken and this and that. But a skin rash and skin cancer, depending upon what you're selling, could be entirely different relationships. Okay, they might be related, but depending upon how much content you're going to create, if you're an alternative hospital, or like you're an oncologist or something like that, skin cancer is a major difference. You should have how to recognize skin cancer. Skin cancer would be the category, and 3 signs of skin. You got a whole different topic. So you got to know really how to distinguish those related terms, even if they're closely related, is first and foremost based on what it is you're selling and your target bullseye for what you're selling. Does that make sense? I would recommend Bogato that you just edit inside your WYSIWYG editor for now. And you guys are so far ahead of what most people are doing. They're not thinking any of this stuff through. They're just adding stuff haphazardly in what we call a geeky architecture with no relationship and nothing is stacked, and just, oh my goodness. Also, I wanted to announce to you guys that we have the, probably by the end of the day, you guys are the first to know about this actually. I'm not done with this site, but you guys know, maybe Matt's already given you guys information about the Simple Silo plugin, or have you talked to them about that, Matt?
Yeah, I basically showed them how to use the plugin in DWS when they import the stuff in.
No, did you show them the all-new Simple Silo plugin?
Not the new one.
Okay. I'm just letting you guys know that this is coming. We'll get it to you. I just want to wait one more day, even though we did give it to a couple people. Simple Silo plugin might be useful. You should ask Matt first. Maybe I shouldn't even be showing them this map. But this could be useful if some of you are doing unique things with your blog. Instead of going deep, this one actually only goes 2 levels deep, and it uses posts on the, what's that?
That's perfect for the blog, the WRS blog.
Good. That's what I was thinking, because I couldn't remember what week you taught that in. So,
that's coming in a week 5 or 6.
Okay, good. So this is all ready. I've been preparing this. I've been actually debugging and working on it. There was almost no bugs, but there's a couple minor issues, which I think have been repaired as of last night. So I explained the difference between this and the Silo plugins. And just a couple days away is our all-new, built from the ground up with our coding department, deep Silo plugin, our video Silo plugin, and then of course now we have Simple Silo plugin. Simple Silo is great for just your blog roll. It allows you to easily keep your blog roll happening. So it just puts a little closer distance between your posts and your page, which Matt will explain in a few weeks exactly why you want to do that. So that's what I would recommend, Bogato, is just do your editing inside your blog for now. Okay, that's pretty much, I'm ready to take some questions now. Okay, this is where we're at. So we've gone all the way up to the, you've already made it through step 4, ADNA and VDNA. You already knew how to address the pain. You have a pretty good idea of what your product is. Make sure you clarify your product, tangibilize it as much as possible. Okay, tangibilize it as much as possible. Joshua did an excellent job tangibilizing with the video, the productization software. He created a nice image of the course, and he could probably go a little bit deeper in getting into more specifics, but the philosophy is all there. What we call the epistemology was there for him. Just needs a little bit of tangibilization happening. And once you have that, all of these will be shoved downstream. As you begin to get your clarity, as you start adding articles, remember what's to come. That's the main thing. What's coming is that you have, downstream, when the one feed is set up and when your blog is all set up, you're going to be distributing that content. Okay, and it's going to, we call it ground zero content. Is anybody, let's just do a little visioning here, since you guys know now what I'm talking about, where stuff is supposed to go. Just give you a little idea. We're creating a content bomb here, okay? Okay, in other words, we want to take this thing, we want to get you to a point where you're milling out these articles so quickly, like when you get up in the morning, you know exactly what you're doing, okay? You know exactly what you're doing. It's easy for you to create content, where you create all those top-level articles at first. And if any of you guys are having a hard time getting motivated, you can always use what I call video website style architecture to get yourself started. And if you haven't taken a look at the video website style architecture training course inside your members area, it's all there. If for some reason you don't have access because you're not a basic member, please let me know. We'll get you access to that. Okay. Ground zero content simply means that, you're publishing your articles and they're going to get distributed to the outer rings. Okay. And you can repurpose content. You can use that content again and again. It's also going to get tweeted and socialized through all of our social plugins, and that's really how it works. Okay, so we just kind of joke around. I get into more into ground zero content. I'm going to actually put this in your members area today for new. For some reason, I don't know why this video has helped people so much. It's called don'tforgetthebasics.com. It was set up on a whim to try to help a room of people that I was helping, the 3 layers of a sustainable traffic network. I'll go ahead and drop that in your, if you ever get lost, just a reminder of why you want to stack this stuff, okay? You want to stack it because you can see that there are 3 transparencies I want you to be holding in your mind. Okay, those transparencies are traffic, domain authority, and content distribution, okay? And I'm going to actually add this to your training area today. Let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. Does everybody see this okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead and look at this. So what we're trying to show you, this is just a quick overview of that. The red arrow is content. The green arrow is page rank and domain authority, which is now becoming mostly domain authority. Page rank can't be really. Okay. And then the blue arrows is traffic. I don't know why. I just assumed that everybody understood this about building. It doesn't matter what size network. Even if you just have a one-page, even if you have like a small SEO silo website, this is the way that every day when you get up in the morning, you should be only worried about 3 things in terms of your online technology stuff. It's your content going outward, ground zero, and being repurposed pretty much automatically. When we get to the one feed section, we're going to be showing you what that one feed is all about. We call this downstream, and you want the domain authority and the traffic to be moving upstream. Okay? And what happens is you start to, once you get rolling, and once you have your cathedral built, which is what Matt's showing you how to do, your SEO silo cathedral, once that's done, then of course all these backlinks and domain authority, as well as your PR and domain authority, as well as the traffic, starts to snowball. And what makes us different is that we're doing this with you guys all at the same time. We're showing you how to generate all of this at the same time instead of like one off, one off, one off. All of this is happening. It's like that almost famous movie, It's All Happening. Building the SEO silo cathedral first is key, because when you have things, as we've been pitching and teaching since 2006, theme structure with your silo site is absolutely key, because the power of your backlinking, used to be for page rank, now it's more for domain authority, is increased by an order of magnitude. And that order of magnitude is between 80 to 90%, actually between 60 to 90% fewer inbound links required, or actually there's just more power generated for your rankings overall. You're doing all of this at once.
Yeah, that case study what I've just done proves what you just said, Russell.
Yeah, you want to get into that.
Backlinks, and
did you talk to them about that yet, or?
I'm putting Crazy X slides in, and I'm going to be releasing it probably tomorrow or Monday.
Okay, cool.
But that covers exactly what you just discussed now. With 2 backlinks, we've got 40% more visibility than all the competitors in our niche.
Excellent. That's why we really teach personal brand broadcasting, because we talk about broadcasting just because when we get you automated both a little bit in this training course and on certification level 2, the one feed does a lot of this heavy lifting for you out here. But one thing that we can't really automate from your personal brand, the thing that's really, really hard to automate, is your content, the red arrows. Now it's easy to automate that content on your WR2 layer, which is certification level 3. But you guys can understand why it would be impossible to cover all of this in one training session, right? Give me a 1 if you understand that, or one certification course. So that's why we try we try to layer it out for you so that, you know, it's really interesting. My favorite part of the whole show is the WR2. It's a lot of work, but I like my video sites, and I like to use engagement rank to automate and drive traffic, and a little bit of domain authority as well. And of course, we have some methods that we show at certification that drives a lot of domain authority. But main thing is that if I was targeting, if the banners on these WR2 sites were leading to a site that was not very well built, that didn't have the persuasion layer content we talked about today, that didn't have any, it wasn't an SEO silo cathedral built with content, stability, clearly thought out infrastructure and blueprint, I would be wasting a lot of the juice. I mean, I can drive a whole lot of traffic to a SEO silo website, but if it's crappy and it's not clear and it's not converting, you know, that's the main thing that you got to realize. If it's not converting, then there's a problem. So you got to make those things convert and rank. And it gives you more power from all the other things that you built on the outer ring. Okay? Good, good. Any other? Here's one more question. One quick question: is the structure too deep for a local theme target? Okay, / Prince or city, main theme level. Yeah.
There's too many layers.
Too many layers. I would suggest that you
go deeper in 4 layers there.
Yeah, you need to revisit your. It should be maindomain.com / I would need to know more.
He's talking about real estate. He's thinking about real estate. I would basically use the silos, the states, the categories I'd use for locales, and supporting articles I would use for the actual property. So what that does is, in your structure at the supporting article layer, you can have multiple posts that go out from that actual blog that you're building, or the WR1 site. It gives you a lot more freedom that way. If you narrow it down too much, your site becomes super deep and it hardly ever gets indexed, those bottom layers. So typically, think about it in that structure. If you're doing like a really local town, then you don't need to go that deep. You can just do silos and categories. I can chat more to you about that, Vagaro, with regards to the local one.
Okay, he's got domain.com / Here's the question, you guys, just so you know what he asked. I'm going to go ahead and put it up on the screen for everybody.
Domain, man, team level, support category. Yeah, that's right.
This is probably too deep.
Yeah, if you put domain in front of that, Russ, you'll see how deep it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, to me it seems like you're trying to build a directory, which, by the way, is a different can of worms.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about that this week, the last couple of weeks. You need to be careful. You like this one, Matt?
Yeah, I wouldn't go more than 4 levels. There's no point going so deep because the spiders don't go that far down the rabbit hole.
Well, they will if you have
If
a
you look
site
at
map.
Yelp and all these new directories, yeah, but for these guys to build, there's so much content, they're making their life very difficult.
Yeah, you don't need to. What is the purpose or the objective of your directory, Avocado? You're selling leads? Okay.
It's generating local leads for real estate.
Yeah.
So that's why if you're targeting that town, you can go straight in at the town at the silo level. You can talk about the business at the category level, and as a supporting article, you can have individual properties that are being listed.
Yeah, there's a couple of trippy things here I don't know if I should really get into. One thing is that when you're doing, I probably shouldn't. It's kind of a secret, not really, but there's no dupe content for local pages yet. There hasn't been since 2009. You're aware of that, right? So you could actually just duplicate. I'm not suggesting that you duplicate the pages. I'm just saying that I witnessed some things recently with some directory software in a development meeting I had when I was in Nashville. That's pretty amazing. Like literally repeating, the same content for thousands of cities with just small variations. There's been no problems at all with that. I'm not saying I recommend doing that. I'm just saying that really if you're going to go into a directory mindset, start looking at directories. We're not really teaching directory builds here. I know Matt can totally help you because he knows how to do it. I just want to caution everybody else that directories are a little, the rules still hold, but the rules change a little bit because you're targeting local state cities for those pages. And if you're targeting a different location, the rules of dupe content change a little bit. So you really might want to think that through in terms of, you definitely don't want to go super deep. There's no need. Let me see what he's got.
Not for the location he's working in now.
Well, how many locations is he doing?
It's a Canadian. It's like 2 or 3 cities for now, but the scope's in Canada, so it's not huge. They've got a large country, but the cities are not massive. So that's why I'm saying you can keep it within that structure. If you're going to be covering a whole country, then yes, think about a directory. But for local lead generation, there's no point in going. Just target the specifics in those locales that you want to do. Yeah, like what he said now was domain.com, Waterloo, real estate agents, top 3 agents. You could do that, but possibly even go even more specific, because you don't want to generate the leads for the agents. You actually want to get you want the guy to phone in for the actual property that's to be let out. That's where the mindset comes from. That's where the leads come from. They don't actually care about who they speak to. They just want the property, if that makes sense. Can you give me one if you clear on that, Virgro? Yeah, we'll have a chat about it, because you got to always think about the market personality when you're generating leads. It's what does that person want, not what the business wants. The business wants a lead, but the person wants something. So we have to give them that something and focus about your architecture around that something. And that's how you generate the leads. Looks like Russell's dropping. Getting lead generation, guys, you've got to be very, very specific about what those people really want. And the whole pitch, everything you're doing is around that idea. The same applies for local stuff. I wouldn't go down trying to build directories at this point in time. First, understand these concepts and these principles, because they create a stronger foundation in the long term.
Can you hear me, Matt?
Yeah, you're back. Can you hear perfect?
Yeah. I don't have really a lot more to say. I'm going to let you handle that. I don't want to I've been kind of in directory land, so I don't want to take it there.
Yeah, sure, no worries.
I guess to summarize, folks, I'm going to go ahead and put this in your members area. I think we've covered most of what we need to cover today. And
Yeah.
your homework assignment for today, I'll just is to, what is their homework assignment, Matt? We've actually covered that. We're going to.
Yeah, they've basically got to work on their first silo this week, map it out in DWS, then drop the persuasion layer on top of it.
Okay, excellent.
The blog.
And another homework assignment is for you guys to just first complete Matt's task, and then go ahead and look at the video website silo architecture course quickly. I'm actually going to put a link in there. It'll help you come up with conversion ideas, even if you're in a local leads concept. If you're stuck for content, you can't figure out what to say, or you're in a budget, you can always just create a video. Okay, or have a video created.
Yeah.
That will help you as just a little bonus I'll toss in there. Other than that, Matt, I'll let you close it down. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to head off to my next meeting, and I look forward to looking at your homework assignments.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Russell, for the chat there.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, cheers. Okay, guys, so I hope this helped you. So essentially, just to bring this all together for you guys nicely. Last week we spoke about getting the keyword data back. I'm nearly finished all you guys' projects. You'll probably get that all on this weekend. Then what I'd like you to do is, when you're ready to use Kraken, one thing to note is while I'm drilling your keywords, you can hop in and also drill a bit as well. But when you're really ready to use Kraken, you get one shot at using it. So you must just give Kevin the dates, and he'll adjust the dates so that you get that week's access that you need. But what you'll do is take those keywords that I'm going to give you, it'll be in the help ticket, and you import them into DWS, you map out your silo, but then as you're mapping out the silo, start thinking about the persuasion, what Russell took us through today. How do we make the architecture, which is a skeleton, work, and then how do we take the persuasion layer, the next layer, we stack it on, which is the meat and the bones of the actual content, the story, and clearly demonstrating what it is that you're selling, so that there's no ambiguity when the person comes in and you're speaking to their pain. That's what you basically do, and that's what generates the leads, that's what generates the sales, that's what pulls people into your list building and all those type of things. Guys, thanks a lot. I'm going to close this call down now. I hope you enjoyed this, but if you need anything, ping me on Skype, guys, and I'll send you know as soon as all your keywords are finished. Okay, excellent. Thanks a lot, guys. Walton's saying, I'm not ready to use Kraken yet, but I should try use it to do other keywords. Welton, when you get ready to use Kraken, I've already started drilling your keywords. You'll see I've done your primary keyword and the ones you've given me. I've now extracted the interesting keywords that I want to drill next, and I'm going to start drilling those ones out. But you're welcome to go in and look at the help desk ticket that Kevin's created. You'll see the username and password for Kraken's in there. You can jump in and have a lounge. You can drill around the keywords. You can play with Kraken while I'm working in it as well. That's fine. Okay, excellent. Great, guys. I'm going to close this off for today, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Excellent. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day, and I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Spat the Cruise from Network Empire, and I'll see you guys soon. Cheers. Bye.